And boy, did he knock that one out of the park. Obviously, that goal, the one that helped sink SuperSport United when they were taking on Cape Town City FC. And that is how pretty much the opening match day of the ABSA Premiership started for the 2018-2019 season. And yes, football is back, finally. And we are back right here on Afro World View Channel 405. This is Football Nights. My name is Len Moleko, and I don't ride solo. I'm always with Morana Mutupi, who's going to hopefully assist me in breaking down all that we saw this past weekend. And we're going to start with a game that we set here, and we sort of like labeled it as the fixture of the weekend. Mamelodi Sundowns taking on Kaizer Chiefs. Was it everything that you thought it was going to be?
Not necessarily. I mean, it was an exciting game. You know, it had goals. Wasn't that many, but it had goals nonetheless. But for me, the disappointment was just the lack of defensive presence, you know. And I don't want to call it poor defending. It wasn't poor defending. It was just lack of concentration, you know, a lapse of concentration at crucial moments, which is why we saw a penalty and why we saw Ramahlwe Mpahlele, who seldom scores for any of the teams he's ever played for, you know, scoring what was actually a really good goal, you know, for him to be able to dispossess in that kind of position and to have the presence of mind to head for goal and to keep the composure to put the ball in the back of the net. That says a lot about, you know, the kinds of fullbacks hopefully we are grooming in this country, who are not just going to be the guys that defend, but they're also going to be the guys that, if they don't score the goals, then they at least try to create. You know, what we see in European football, where
Marcelo's, Daniel Alves,
exactly,
and the
likes.
likes.
You know, and the Valencias and all those people. So it was a great game in the sense that it's the kind of football Pitso Mosimane likes. It may not have had all the goals that we've seen from a Sundowns Pirates kind of game, but it's the kind of game Pitso Mosimane likes, you know. Kaizer Chiefs didn't go into that game with the intention to sit back, and again, that's why you see Ramahlwe Mpahlele scoring, because they played a high line, you know, and you want to say that the dust is still very much in both teams, that they're trying to shake off, you know, and that's why they went.
But can't you argue that Sundowns have somewhat of a momentum going for them, because they didn't just start playing competitive football over the weekend. They did so by playing in the CAF Champions League. So you would have expected them to be a little bit switched on, which was something that you did not necessarily get, or a vibe that you got. There are 2 or 3 chances that Mshishi Zwane got. And on a good day, we'd expect him to put those away.
But then you go on to say that you would expect both these teams, you know, to come into this game switched on off the back of what happened in the Shell Helix Ultra Cup. This is a completely different game to what we saw in that one, and not to even look at the scoreboard or what happened on the scoreline.
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs were just not there in that preseason game. You know, Mamelodi Sundowns weren't dominating, you know, in that preseason game, but they did look like the team that was deserving of the victory. In this game, you didn't see who was deserving of the victory. And not to say that because both teams were bad, but it was because both teams went at each other toe-to-toe. You know, you had Kama Billiat, who was giving Sundowns
I was actually about to get to that point of the C and the B.
Yeah.
Did they cause enough problems for Sundowns to actually sit back and say, you know what, Kaizer Chiefs might actually be a force to be reckoned with this season?
C, not so much. You know, I think Leonardo Castro didn't impose himself the way a lot of us expect him to. You know, the Castro that we saw in Mamelodi Sundowns colours was devastating. And the Billiat we saw in Mamelodi Sundowns colours is exactly the Billiat we saw in Kaizer Chiefs colours. It almost felt as if he was trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
You know, whether to himself, whether to Pitso Mosimane and Patrice Motsepe, or whether to the Sundowns fans, or maybe even to the Kaizer Chiefs fans, to say, I may have been rejected or kicked out or let go by the guys whom I helped win the CAF Champions League, but I'm still very good at what I do.
I'm not here to waste time.
I'm not here to waste your time, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I was, not even I think, but I was incredibly impressed with Kama Billiat. You know, he's someone who I've come to see allow, you know, the bad form and you know, the criticism get to him, and where I suppose Sundowns fans and Sundowns technical team don't believe in him the way they used to in 2016. But what I saw on Saturday was amazing. But it was equally amazing from Mushishi, who did miss all those chances, but he was there. You know, Jeremy Brockie was causing all sorts of problems. He's still waiting for that official goal, and I believe that it'll come as long as he continues to play with the same energy and the same spirit and determination that he went into that Chiefs game with. The goal will come. So I was impressed with how both teams approached that game. And I'm not surprised that it came out as a draw. I'm just glad it came out as a draw that had goals in it.
All right, I'm going to come back to you because I just want to get an idea of how these two teams are going to fare out because they've got a cup competition that they're fighting for and it's starting this weekend already. Before we get to that, let's make our way to Pretoria where Pete is standing by on the line. Pete, welcome to the show.
Yes, Len, you?
How are you doing?
I'm well, and how are you?
I'm good, can't complain. What was your overall impression of
I'm keeping as well. You know, I'm glad the league, we're going to watch some football now, but one can say first opening game of the Premier League.
Yes.
It has left something. There was something acting on the it didn't start with a bang, like, you know, here's the game. It just started with a slow pace. When you look, I went to watch Sundowns and Chiefs in Loftus.
Yeah.
You know, the game, they played, but it left something. Both teams, I think, when you look at both teams created chances, but the way they were attacking each other, they didn't play to the expectations of the fans. We didn't expect it. They expected something else. So I don't know. But as for the game, all the games that played over the weekend, I think we're still going to see more, I guess. But the way they started, the league started, there's something that I'm still expecting to see. You know, you didn't start in a way that you feel like, no, the competition is on. But I believe as time goes by, more games, then we're going to see some more football and more changes.
All right, Pete, just before I let you go, which team impressed you the most this past weekend?
So far, you know, with Cape Town City, no doubt about that. But the game against SuperSport, they win convincingly, and you could have seen they could have scored more. They were angry to score. Then I think that's what we really need to see in the football. We want to see some attacks going forward. You see that we really need, like, when you compare the game of Sundowns and Pirates and Chiefs. Anyway, 1-1 was not the true reflection of the game, according to me. Okay, both teams created chances.
Yeah.
But there was something lately towards finishing, you know, all those kind of things. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much there for your thoughts, Pete, out in Pretoria. If you also want to share your thoughts, you can do the same like Pete has done. You can give us a call. The number is 011-542-1046. Now, Morena, I said Chiefs and Sundowns are both in cup competition this weekend. Did they show you enough? Especially, let's look at Sundowns and who they're going to be playing against.
Not necessarily. They didn't show me enough, but I say this because this is a cup competition. You know, the difference between the first game of the league season and the first game of the MTN8 is you only have 4 games in the MTN8 for you to go win the title.
Yeah.
4 games. You've got the quarterfinal, you've got the home and away leg of the semifinal, and you've got the final. That's all you have. So when you go into that competition this coming weekend, the big boys, you expect them to come out just dishing out hidings. And if they don't do that, you expect those that they're playing against to come out dishing hidings.
Yeah.
SuperSport United did not look like a team that's going to do anything to Orlando Pirates. They didn't. Against Cape Town City, they didn't.
And that's our next conversation, because you sat here prior to the announcement of Keitano Tembo as the coach. He was announced as the first team coach, and we saw what we saw. But just finish off with the Kaizer Chiefs Sundowns heading to the weekend.
With Kaizer Chiefs and Sundowns, I think I give them the chances to win their games. You know, yes, Golden Arrows looked dangerous. They scored bicycle kicks in the opening. I mean, the kind of confidence to win a game the way they won that game in a KZN derby against a team that finished so strongly last season, a Nedbank Cup finalist. That's what you do to them. You make them look like they didn't do anything last season.
A team that claimed a number of big scouts.
Exactly. That's some serious confidence and a serious, confidence booster going into a game against Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yeah.
But it's a cup competition. One that Pito Mosimane really wants. He may not say how badly he wants it, but he wants it because it's not sitting in his cabinet right now as a Mamelodi Sundowns coach.
Yeah.
Kaizer Chiefs, on the other hand, Giovanni Solinas showed us once upon a time with Free State Stars that he knows his thing. He knows his story. I'm enjoying the style of play that I've seen from Kaizer Chiefs in the Shell Helix Cup, which of course was Patrick Mabedi's style of play,
Yeah.
but just the change of attitude. And then of course, the style of play and just the tactical awareness and the tactical approach and the tactical implementation in the game against Mamelodi. I'm enjoying Kaizer Chiefs, and it's not a lot that I've said this on this show.
Yeah.
But from Saturday afternoon, I've enjoyed what I've seen from Kaizer Chiefs, so much so that I believe both teams in the MTN8 quarterfinal, they will pick up victories.
All right, and we also know that Black Leopards managed to defeat Polokwane City, starting off the Absa Premiership campaign on a high, beating a home side, in the local derby.
Yeah.
Next up for them is obviously Highlands Park later on in the week. But the other game that I wanted us to focus on is SuperSport United against Cape Town City. Were you more disappointed with how SuperSport United played, or was it because Cape Town City came to the party?
I was not surprised with what SuperSport United showed. I don't have any faith in the team that they have, unfortunately. You know, I think they have the opportunity to surprise.
What do they not have?
They just don't have depth, and they don't have quality players. They don't have those players, in my opinion, who when you look at, you worry. I worry about Andy Lijali when he starts hitting the purple patch. I worry about Spiwe Chabalala still when he starts hitting that purple patch. I worry about Vincent Pule because he was running all sorts of rings around Highlands Park over the past weekend, even though Orlando Pirates did draw with them. But Vincent Pule, in his first game for a club like Orlando Pirates, showed that he deserves to be in that club. I don't have anybody to talk about at SuperSport United. I have, you know, I suppose Surprise Ralani, you can give him a bit of an opportunity because he's still trying to settle in from Europe. Riyad Nuruddin has a point to prove to Orlando Pirates that, listen, guys, I'm still good, you know. And then you've got Roland Puche, who scores goals like, you know, he's playing in the World Cup.
That was a beautiful
France.
goal. So it's actually a very good contender for
it really is.
a goal of the month.
So even goal of the year, in my opinion. But I think Cape Town City, you can pick out 1 or 2 or 3 players in their squad that you can say these guys can make things happen for them. SuperSport United, honestly, if we're going to really look for someone in that team, it's still Renelo Letsulunyan. But he's not the same Renelo Letsulunyan.
But you've got 2 Bafana internationals in Renelo Letsulunyan. You've got Dean Furman as a captain. Surely they should be anchors enough to be able to rally the team going forward and obviously in defense, because they play that position that sort of like determines or dictates the pace of the game.
Renelo Letsulunyan should be playing, in my opinion at least, a creative position, not just a central midfielder who cleans up and can also create. I feel like he's still got the brains to create. He may not have the legs anymore, but he still has the brains to create. Dean Furman is just that guy that cleans up for you. He's Willard Katsande, you know, he's Tina Shenengo Masha. He's the guy that just does all the dirty work. He's the guy he's Nemanja Matic. He protects the defense. How well he does it? Clearly not that well, because all that's been happening at SuperSport United is that the defense has just been getting breached far too many times. And I suppose a lot of blame can be put on the fact that they have aging players in their central defense. Clayton Daniels and Morgan Gould should not be starting for SuperSport United if they want to launch any kind of attack on the league, defending the MTN8, the Telkom Knockout, and the Nedbank Cup. That squad for me is just, it doesn't have a star player or star players. You know, Bradley Grobler comes from injury.
James Keane.
Still going to take some time. James Keane was great at Wits, but I feel like at Wits he had the players to give him what he needed. He doesn't have that at SuperSport United right now. So for me, the only thing that's going good for SuperSport is that they still have a young goalkeeper who himself is not doing that great enough to book himself a place in the Bafana squad for AFCON 2019. So there's just nothing going right for SuperSport United right now, and it's understandable because it wasn't that easy for many teams to get quality players in the transfer market.
Yeah.
And when you're a SuperSport United that has nothing to sell to a player, you know, it becomes difficult for you to attract really good quality players. You can't go out there in 2018 and talk about, well, we were at the CAF Confed Cup in 2017 and we won the MTN8 in 2017. Yes, you did. But that's for the statistics column, you know, on your website and on the PSL website.
You don't want to offer me anything.
It's not something that you can sell to a player. Mamelodi Sundowns can sell the championship. They can sell it this year, next year, and I think for the next 2 or 3 years. They've been selling the championship for 5 years now. Kaizer Chiefs can sell the badge because that badge does weigh a lot, and so can Orlando Pirates. Cape Town City can sell a coach who's got ideas and is excited. And
the cool team that everybody
the
sort
cool
of like
team that
wants to associate
exactly
with.
because it has the potential to win silverware. Golden
Which
Arrows,
they have.
which they have under Eric Tinkler. There are teams. Wits can also sell that thing of, for 4 years we fought for this league title, and we can. It may not take 4 years again, but we can do something. SuperSport United right now, as much as they've been in almost every cup final for like the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they don't have anything to sell to quality players right now, and they're going to need quality players for this coming season.
You speak about Wits, they were the big winners of the weekend,
Yeah.
obviously defeating Free State Stars by 3-0. Amazulu also claiming the scalp of Baroka FC. Golden Arrows, we kind of touched on them earlier on. They went to the Herikwala Stadium. Fearless, as fearless gets.
Yeah.
They were even scoring crazy goals. But they have, call it a sickness of sorts. They're very good at starting on a high.
Yes.
But as the season goes, they start to go on a decline.
And what more do you say about a Golden Arrows that's been doing that since they won the MTN 8 all of 10 years ago, 9 years ago? That's all they ever do. I don't know if it's within the culture of Golden Arrows that, when we start, we're going to start strong. It helps them. It helps them because when you start strong and you're able to pick up at least 15 to 20 points.
They count at the end of the season.
They count at the end of the season because then you start looking at the top 8 and you do what you need to do to pick up a draw here, make sure you don't lose here, win that surprise game against a Polokwane City, shock an Orlando Pirates. They do count eventually, but with the way they start, you would expect Golden Arrows to be sitting in the top 4, top 5 at the very most. So it was an exciting opening round of fixtures. But I'm still very much of the belief that Wits is not going to do what Wits did 2 years ago. SuperSport United, unless there's any drastic changes to that team in the next couple of weeks, they too are not going to potentially make the top 8. Cape Town City, they're exciting. They've got new, fresh players. So they've put in a bid to change my mind about where they will finish in the season. But knowing how erratic and emotional Benny McCarthy can get, and how when things don't go his way, his demeanor has the power to drop the positivity and the energy in his camp if things don't go right for him. Because I go back to last season. First 5 or 6 games, started like a house on fire. Sitting on top of the log, just smacking Wits, who were the league champions at the time, in the MTN 8. Things were going great. After that 5th or 6th game in the season, started going, spiraling down, and his energy dropped. He started blaming referees for certain decisions that go for him. So
he ended up on the
exactly
on the bench. Not on the bench, on the stands at some point.
Because his attitude did not reflect that of someone who had the same attitude at the start of the season. So I worry about him and how things may not go his way and how that'll affect his team if the demeanor does go down. But to look at Golden Arrows, Cape Town City, Maritzburg United, Wits, obviously, the saying, we can say it all the time. It's still too early, but I think it's going to be an interesting season.
Well,
what we saw last season, I think, is not going to have anything on what we're going to see this season.
Well, the league title, or the chase to the league title, is obviously a marathon, 30 games altogether. Now, you spoke about somebody putting their heads down. I want to ask you a question. I know the Orlando Pirates badge is heavy, but are the gloves also at Orlando Pirates equally as heavy?
They are. They are, because everybody who's coming now is coming after the late Senzo Meiwa. It's not something you want to ever bring up, but to emulate what that man did before his life was taken, it's just, Brighton Mhlongo couldn't do it.
Jackson Mabokhwane couldn't do it.
And Brighton Mhlongo was the man under Senzo Meiwa's wing. He couldn't do it. Jackson Mabokhwane can't do it. Tried from time to time, Siam Ponchani couldn't replicate what he did at Platinum Stars, where he stopped Orlando Pirates from winning the MTN 8 and the Telkom knockout a couple of years ago. He can't do it. He's tried as well towards the end of last season, where he was starting to show some really bright performances, which earned him praise from Orlando Pirates fans with the first game, where they were asking, you had Siam Ponchane performing for you towards the end of the year, why aren't you starting with him? Why aren't you just continuing with that? But it becomes tricky. 3 months, a huge gap between how a goalkeeper performed in May and how he will perform in August. So with Wayne Sandilands, he came in as the number one when he moved from Sundowns. He was originally going to be the number one because Brighton wasn't doing his job, Jackson wasn't doing his job, Siam Ponjani was just absolutely dismal. So Wayne Sandilands was supposed to be the guy that comes in with all that experience, where he was rubbing off of Mamelodi Sundowns, African champions. You know, he was coming in with that. But obviously the first game tells a different story, that, you know what, you shouldn't even be at this club. It's one game. It's a typical mistake that happens in football. It's unfortunate that it happened to a goalkeeper wearing the gloves and the badge of Orlando Pirates. Hopefully he gets over it.
He had a similar, you can argue he had a similar blunder against Mamelodi Sundowns last season, where a long-range effort from Hlompo Kekana, sort of like, I don't know if it swayed at the last minute and he went the one way and the ball went the other way, but he obviously couldn't get his hands on it. He looks back to that and all the other mistakes that he's made. Surely that knocks your confidence out. And if you are Brilliant Kuzwayo on the medical bed that you're sitting on right now, you're probably thinking, I can upstage these people and take those gloves.
He can, but will he? See, that's the other thing, where now the pressure is mounting on Brilliant Kuzwayo to come in and save the day. Will he save the day? Can he save the day? Because he also spent a long time on the bench serving as, you know, the number 2 to Itumeleng Khune. Does he actually still have that Brilliant Kuzwayo from 2014 that won Kaizer Chiefs the MTN8 single-handedly?
He sounds confident.
And that's good. Come in with the confidence. But so did Wayne Sandilands. He walked in there with all the confidence in the world. Jackson Mabuchwan is still comes out with that confidence to say that when I'm given the opportunity, I will do the best I can. Jackson Mabuchwana was part of a 6-0 drubbing. He's part of that kind of history for Orlando Pirates. You know, so Wayne Sandilands, in this particular situation, Saturday's game, he can't be taking all that blame by himself. Someone with the experience that someone like Kolam Lambo has, how do you pass back like that under that much pressure in a first game of the season? You should know better. So yes, a blunder by Wayne Sandilands, but loss of concentration and, you know, not understanding and reading the game the way you should have from someone with the experience of Kolam Lambo, who's won the league with Wits. He should know better. So Pirates in general at the back, in its entirety, it didn't click the way it should have. First game, these are the kinds of mistakes you want to embrace, because they teach you a lot going into your second game against a team that will most likely want to beat everything out of you.
All right, obviously fixtures that are happening this week. The log standings, the table, there's not really much to read from that. Obviously Bidvest Wits will be number one by virtue of scoring 3 goals. Bloem Celtic find themselves there and thereabout because they had a very good outing. Despite all the problems that they have in the background, the players were able to come in and say to Coach Steve Kompela, yeah, it was not happening at Naturena, but we can do it here in Siwelele land. Are they giving you the confidence that they can actually do well this season?
You have no reason to not perform. You come in as a footballer, your job is to perform. Whether you're getting your salary, it becomes a different conversation, but your job is to perform. Your job is to do better than Bloem Celtic. You want to perform between now and December so that hopefully in January, someone comes knocking on your door and says, hey, we would like your services. So when you go out there, you don't want to go out there and embarrass your family, man. You don't want to go out there and embarrass yourself. So you must go out there and perform. Leave the politics in the boardrooms to those people.
You can deal with those afterwards.
You can deal with those after 90 minutes. But Bloem Celtic, I'm not surprised that they performed, you know, given everything that's going on with them. Their job is to go out onto the field and make sure that they win.
All right, cool. Just quickly browsing through the log standings. The league table for SuperSport United is looking very bleak right now. They are finding themselves at the wrong end of it. Free State Stars, the way they performed last season, they don't want to be finding themselves where they are. Do you see either one of them sort of like coming back this week and redeeming themselves? Because just going through the fixtures, Polokwane is taking on Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs is taking on Wits, Baroka is taking on Cape Town City, Golden Arrows taking on Bloem Celtic, Free State Stars against Maritzburg, Chippa United, Orlando Pirates, SuperSport United, Amazulu. That game can be the game whereby they can sort of like put the right foot forward. So who do you see as those that are going to bounce back this week in 30 seconds because we're almost out of time?
Honestly, I don't see SuperSport beating AmaZulu. AmaZulu have the right kind of experience. Maputi Kenyeza, Munib Joseph, Belen Omvete. Until something drastic happens in SuperSport, I don't see the results favoring them. I don't see them coming out of that bottom half. Maritzburg United are going to beat Free State Stars. I'm still concerned about the arrogance that Luke Emel has at Free State Stars. It's not going to work for him until he changes it. Fatu Davids wants to win. So, honestly, I see Maritzburg bouncing back. I see AmaZulu continuing the good form. I don't think I want to risk putting my head on the block with Wits and Kaizer Chiefs because Kaizer Chiefs is playing really well.
Yeah.
But Wits have 3 goals from the first game and they're sitting top of the log. So it's going to be a tricky one. To be safe, I'll give it a draw. But whether it'll be a draw with goals or not, we don't know.
Morana Mutupi, as always, thank you very much for joining us right here on the show. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We're going to be sitting here again next week, Monday, dissecting what would have taken place in the quarterfinals of the MTN 8. But until then, thank you very much for your time. You at home as well, thank you very much for letting us into your houses. We shall see you again, same time, same place right here on Channel 405, Afro World View. My name is Len Muleko. Till then, have yourselves a wonderful Monday evening.